So, I just have this on my mind right now. So I turn on the camera and here I am talking to you. And it's about this thing about being an audiophile. And what I realize is that it is about problem solving. It's like non-audiophiles just turn on the music and they listen to it and they don't think about it, right? It's just there. Good. But for an audiophile, you listen to music and you think in some version or other, how could this be better? Ah, that's what separates us from them. You listen to music actively and you question it. You question how it sounds, how you feel about the music. Not just technically, it's like, am I in it? Do I feel something or do I want to feel more? That's why you're an audiophile. The civilians out there, the non-audiophiles, they just turn on music and listen. That's it. They're good. They turn it up to whatever level they want to listen. Does it have enough bass? That might be a question. And they are done. Whether it's in a car, at home, a boombox, a Bluetooth speaker, whatever it is, they're easily satisfied. And good for them. That's cool. But us, we audiophiles are different because we listen and we want more from music. We want more from the sound of music. It would be easy just to listen, right? But we want more. And I always have to stress when I do these little rants, it's not how much the system costs or the speakers cost or the turntable, whatever. It's not how much it costs that determines whether you're in the club, whether you're one of us audiophiles. No, it's not about the price of the gear. The person with the $10,000 system isn't 10 times the audiophile as the one with the $1,000 system. Price is nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with it. When I was a little kid, I was listening to this static on my radio. I wanted more static. I would tune in between AM radio stations to get more static. I loved the texture of it. There was just something about it that was musical to me. And I was like, how did I know that then? So when I first heard distorted guitars, when I first heard Link Wray's rumble on the radio in the late 50s, that distortion spoke to me. But you know what? It wasn't just speaking to me, it was speaking to millions of other people that weren't used to hearing that kind of abstract sound in popular music. It wasn't avant-garde music. It was some weird, academic music. No, it wasn't Stockhausen. No, it was rock music that was using this sound that touched people, right? The sound, not the notes, not the melodies, not just the rhythm. All of those things were important, but just the sound of that distorted guitar, that Link Wray's guitar that I think he was initially having a problem with his amplifier. The tubes in his amplifier were knocking around or something and it was distorting, and he was like, oh wait, people actually like the sound of this distortion, because he was trying to fix the amp and stop it from feeding back or whatever, and he realized the audience was digging it. It's like, oh, give them more distortion. Of course, nowadays, a lot of audiophiles are hung up on clarity and resolution and detail, and to some degree I am as well. But distorted sound, non-accurate sound, has its own appeal to some of us, That's why we're listening to odd amplifiers, like I am, the Deckware Zen Triad, which, by the way, I feel really guilty about leaving that off my list. On my podcast recently, I did a list of every amplifier I've ever owned, or nearly every one, and for some reason, unexplainable by me, I left off the Zen Triad. 2-watt, made by Steve Deckert. I love this little amplifier. Beyond the fact that it's 2 watts, it just has a sound that touches me. I keep coming back to it. I don't know why I left it off my list. This is on my podcast, the Audiophiliac Podcast. I'll talk about that later on in today's episode. But the point here is that audiophiles, what we're doing, I think, is problem solving. We're trying to decode what's in the music in ways that we want to hear the music. So whether it's changing the speaker or the amplifier or the DAC or the cable or whatever, that's part of the journey. That's what I think. I really think, I never quite put it that way, that it's a puzzle that we're solving a little piece at a time, a jigsaw puzzle, one piece at a time. We're solving that puzzle. Now it might take years or decades or a lifetime to get there, or maybe we won't even get there, because it's not really the destination. It's the process of getting there and understanding the sound that we want. So, as I've said many times, it's not about finding the best fill in the blank, the best speaker, amp. No, it's not about finding the best. It's finding the right one for you, in your circumstance, in your room, in your price range, whatever. It's about the right one that unlocks that music in ways that you're trying to get to. Yeah, it's that searching for that thing. That's what it is to be an audiophile. You know, in a way, you might say, well, you'd be wrong, I became a reviewer so that I could just play with as much gear as possible. Yeah, but it's so much work, believe me. It's easier just to buy it and sell it than it is to actually review it. But in any case, I get to experience a lot of stuff. And I did when I was a hi-fi salesman. I was constantly opening new boxes of new gear and putting it out on display and setting it up and making it sound as good as I possibly could. Working with my customers, going to their homes occasionally, experiencing more and more and more gear, more stuff. And not only that, but how people engage with the gear. You know, when I sold hi-fi for a living, and I would say to, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, what are you looking for today? And I would hear what they want, and I set something up. I say, what do you think of this? And is this working for you? And I say, well, it's okay, but I want. So it was that dialogue that I was having with people about the sound of music. So that was an amazing education right there for me. So it wasn't just about what I wanted, it was what other people wanted, what made people happy, and what kind of lost them. You know, why is it they were drawn to certain things and didn't get it, or they were, yeah, that was all part of making me who I am as the audiophiliac. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, trying to figure this thing out. Now, one of the great things about having a YouTube channel, there's actually a bunch, is the level of engagement I have with you guys, which is fantastic. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I made a call for viewer system pictures. Now, I always run pictures. I usually run pictures in my show, right, at the end. But this is going to be an entire episode of nothing but viewer systems. So if you have already tried in the past to send in a picture and I didn't like it, I didn't pick you, I'm sorry, but you could try again. I know some people have tried 2, 3, 4 times. I apologize, but I get literally hundreds and hundreds of entries, and I pick what I think are the best ones. So anyway, so what I want from you guys is this. I want great pictures. The picture quality is very important, that it be well composed, well lit, and interesting gear. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be a good picture. So I need the picture. I need a description of what's in the picture, a little bit about you. And it's important, by the way, please, to put the pictures and the description of what's in the picture in the same email. A lot of people forget and they send separately, and it's really hard to match them up. So please make an effort to put them in the same email. And you're going to send the pictures to JPEGs, only JPEGs, no other format is accepted. So send them to audiophiliac@mail.com, not Gmail. At mail.com. And I'll do that in a few weeks. I'm going to have an entire episode of your stuff. So it could be a whole system. It could be just a really cool part of your system. You could be in the picture with the gear. You don't have to be in the, whatever it is, your pet. It's all good. I just want great pictures. That's all I really care about in this thing, is great pictures of very interesting, cool, vintage, DIY, new, whatever, digital, analog, tube, solid state, whatever. It's all good and it's all worthy. So I want to hear from you guys. But back to, and there will be an audiophiliac viewer system at the end of today's show, just to show you as an illustrative example of what I'm talking about. But back to where we started here. Being an audiophile, it is about active listening as opposed to background listening, where you are engaged and you're questioning, what am I listening to? Am I listening to the singer, how expressive he or she is, or the rhythm guitar player's laying down this incredible thing, or the drummer or the bass? Sometimes I don't pay any attention to bass for weeks at a time, and then I'm listening to bass players and just loving. Oh, I wish I could do that. I think if I could play anything at this point, which I'm not, if I could play any instrument, I think I would be drawn to playing electric bass. But I have no sense of rhythm, so that ain't gonna happen. But in any case, I get hung up on certain aspects of music, and right now I'm kind of in this bass groove. Or sometimes it's drummers, of course it's singers, but it changes. But anyway, it's about being a non-musician, which I am, and sort of wishing I could be, and I'm sort of living through the music and imagining myself in the music. That's part of what keeps me going a lot of the time, is just thinking, how did they put this together? It's so amazing that human beings, groups of human beings, can make music like that. Music that people listen to for decades, centuries, for at least written music, right? That's amazing to me, that some people just have that ability to pick up an instrument or pick up a pen and write music. I am in awe. I am in awe. So I am merely a humble listener. That's all I got. That's all I have. So now it is that very special time for today's audiophiliac viewer system of the day. So Dan sent in these pictures of his system, but he also noted that behind the left Klipsch Cornwall you may spot an Ohm Walsh 2 speaker that his dad gave him after Christmas when his father upgraded to a pair of Teal CS3s, which are now used by his son, a third generation audiophile. Anyway, here's the system as it is today. There is those Klipsch Cornwalls and a Marantz TT15 SI turntable with a Clear Audio Virtuoso cartridge. There's a Lehman Audio Black Cube SE phono preamp. Name Unity Atom uses a DAC Strayamp preamp. Conrad Johnson CAV42S control amplifier, and those Klipsch Cornwall 4s. Interconnects are varied. Most of them are made by friends in the audiophile community. Thanks, Dan. We are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the audiophiliac. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please consider subscribing. Super easy to do. Hit that little button and like the videos that you like. That's also would be very much appreciated by me. By the way, speaking of appreciation, I have a thing called a Patreon, which is a way you can support the channel. And I'd love you to consider it out. Check it out. It's at patreon.com/audiophiliac, and there is a link to that below, in the description below this video. But other things for you to consider is my brand new podcast. Well, it's not so new anymore. It's 7 or 8 episodes are already up, but it's different stuff than is on this show, on the YouTube show. So it's not the same thing. Some people think it's just the same as this, but without the picture part. No, it's completely different stuff. And the nice thing is you don't need an app to listen to my podcast. You can listen to my podcast on my own webpage, and I will link to that below. It looks like this. And there it is. Just go there, and wherever you are, you can listen to my podcast. Or if you are into the podcast thing and you have Apple Podcasts or Spotify or iHeartRadio, you can listen there. So kind of like wherever you listen to podcasts, you can listen to mine. Anyway, I'd love you to check it out. So I think I'm correct. My work here is at last complete. So thank you as always for watching, And I really, really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.